All right. Welcome to the Beyond the Lines podcast. My name is Jonathan Miller. I'm one of the co-hosts for this podcast. This is Clayton Edelman.
Hello.
And I don't have my script before me, so this is just a raw intro into what we do. And what we do here is we listen to people's stories because we believe that everybody has an important story to share. Even if we disagree with them, it doesn't matter to us. We want to listen. No matter what. And today we have on the podcast somebody we work with at Central Christian Church. This is DJ Heyward. He's an incredible guy. He's the associate campus pastor at Glendale. Welcome, DJ. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you, guys. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. We should probably preface it. He's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
so,
I am.
We got to just keep that in mind. He's proud.
It's God's team.
God's team.
That's why he's got the big stadium, right?
I mean, I'm not a sports person, but doesn't everybody claim their team is God's team?
Yeah, but that's false teaching. So,
but yours is fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, recently, DJ, you wrote a blog for our Central blog, centralaz.com/blog. A little plug for you.
Yeah.
And you wrote it, and the title of it was "How to Talk About Race: 4 Lessons I Learned." And I think we're just going to be honest here. Central right now, as it stands, is our staff is predominantly white. And you're a person of color on our staff, and you're incredible. And so what are some things, I guess we just want to talk about what you've learned working on the staff and what you've learned just in this incredible climate of the last few years of a lot of change, a lot of discussions happening, and a lot of things, tragedies and all that. What have you learned? And we want to hear your perspective on all that.
Yeah, first I want to kind of address the title of the blog.
Yeah.
It kind of ends with something that I learned. And as I was thinking about writing this blog, it's kind of like, hey, like what are my thoughts and what are the things I want people to listen to? But as I was writing, I was thinking, hey, here's some things that I learned. That was something that was modeled to me that really that challenged me, that really impacted me, that was really meaningful to me. And even though like the conversation was about my perspective, I was able to learn something from the person that was asking the question. And the person that I say their name is Lisa in the blog post, and how she was really she had a lot of questions about what was going on. We're going back to the time in the summer with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and all the stuff that was going on, and her for the first time really wrestling with some of these things that she was seeing, and her looking at me and my family as people that she cares about. I was like, hey, are these things that you guys are experiencing? And hey, help me in all my ignorance and everything that I am. And I'm just going to pose some really hard questions for you and some things that are really hard for me to bring up. And I want to share them with you. And so that was like, wow, that was a really eye-opening for me to see, like, wow, this person is coming to me humbly. And though if you would just to take the transcript of our conversations and just read them, you'd be like, oh wow, like some of those things are really offensive, but how she approached them was really well done. And I think it's something that we can all learn from, no matter if you're white, black, or whatever, whoever you think the other is to you. Some of those things can be used in life, just in life in general. Like what we're trying to do here is loving beyond and hearing people's stories, and I'm trying to remove like our selfishness so we could just understand people, empathize with people, walk in their shoes, but also love them where they are, and that's what we're called to do. If we, for us who are Jesus followers, we want to act like him, and he always loved people exactly where they are. And that's the thing that we're challenged to do. So that's what I want to address first with the kind of title of why I went something that I've learned, even though someone was trying to learn something from me, because I was able to learn something from them as well. Yeah. So your original question was, what is it like kind of being a black pastor on pretty much a predominantly white staff? And that's how I kind of introed my blog when I was first writing about being this black pastor. And during that time, going back in time, almost a year ago now,
wow.
It was a really heavy season for me. It was like that week that George Floyd died, that he was murdered. It was the most emotionally taxing week that I have had on staff, and probably almost my whole life. Obviously, other things that happened that were really hard. But that week was just really hard because I think for the first time, a lot of my peers on this staff that we have here for the first time are starting to wrestling with the same things that I mentioned, Lisa mentioned in the blog. They were starting to do that. And so because I'm on this staff and because I'm one of the only people of color, there's just a few of us on this staff. Right. At the time was a pretty large staff. And I was getting a lot of people's questions, and not only from here, but from outside the church as well, from friends and family and everything like that. And so it was almost every night I was having a conversation for almost an hour plus after work and all that kind of stuff, just talking with people about my experience and what has that been like. And so it was really emotionally draining, but it was such a blessing that I'm glad that people felt comfortable enough with me to ask those questions, because I think it could be really hard when you're entering in a space that you don't understand. Yeah. You don't want to say the wrong thing and offend someone. Mm-hmm. But totally. I think it's all about your approach. You can be ignorant and approach it in a way where you are in a posture to learn, right? And so when we're able to do that, we're like you start to take down barriers. And I think a lot of times we want to we want to shy away, or then because we don't want to deal with it, we then go into an echo chamber of what we already believe, and that makes us comfortable. And to do what Lisa did in my blog for me was incredibly uncomfortable, but at the same time, it was so fruitful, and that was amazing. So
wow, it reminds me of you one time spoke for our staff on something of the same subject line, and you talked a lot about curiosity and just genuine curiosity. Is that kind of what you're talking about here? Is like just genuine curiosity in your ignorance is important to have when you're approaching these subjects? Yeah.
I think curiosity is so important, and just in life in general, like to have a spirit of curiosity is how we learn. I was actually having this conversation with my 5-year-old a few days ago, and I was just telling him, hey man, you always ask questions. And he's like, Dad, why should I ask questions? Like, because that's how you learn. Like, the only way we learn about things is when we are willing to ask questions. And somewhere in our childhood, we either get to the point where we think we know everything, or we start to think our questions are stupid, or we don't want to ask them anymore. And so therefore we start to fill ourselves with just things that we know, and we stick to the things that we know. And that is so important when we are having discussions about loving people that are on the other side of the line that we've drawn. We have to be curious about the other side. And I think I said in this whole idea of loving beyond is, how can we love beyond if we are afraid of what's beyond? Wow. Like we can't, you can't love someone that is far away from you if you are not willing to go step towards them and say, hey, like, I'm coming to you open handed and I want to know, because man, God has created this earth and his people, all people in diversity. And this is such a big mystery that we're living in. This world that we live in is God created in mystery. And so when we stop asking questions, we're not entering in the mystery anymore. We just want to know the ending. And it's sometimes easier to do that because then our life becomes predictable, and it becomes safe, and it becomes easy. We want everything to be easy, right? And so it's hard for us to want to kind of play in the mystery or discover things, because when we discover things, most likely we're uncomfortable. From a physical standpoint, like spiritual standpoint and emotional standpoint, it can be really uncomfortable to be curious and to want to discover other things about people.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, even just, I imagine your conversation with who in your blog, you talk about Lisa, that she was just saying, hey, I'm coming kind of open-handed, just want to seek to understand. And that's got to be an uncomfortable position to put yourself in. And so I think your relationship was unique, right? Because this is family. And so how would you encourage us who maybe don't have family members who are of opposite or different color, but even if we just have friends, coworkers, peers, like, how do we start to say, hey, how do I get involved in uncomfortable conversations?
Yeah, I mentioned this as I was writing as well, is that and you're exactly right. The context of the conversation was happening in was relationship. Mm-hmm. And it has to be in that context where you're able to have these conversations, right? Have these conversations to understand this story where you can start or have a relationship with someone. And if you don't have a relationship with someone that is different than you, whether that be by your skin color or by what you believe, there's no one that you can go to that you respect and say, hey, like, here's some of the things that I'm struggling with this subject that has to do with your experience. Man, it's you really have to go out and do that. And so for a lot of the people, and I'm blessed to be in this position, myself and John Moten, one of our campus pastors as well, we're in this position where people looked at us and say, hey, you are someone that I trust to have this conversation with. And this is like a both and too. Like if I'm coming to you and want to know something about you, like, you have to then respond in a way that is uplifting, that you're willing to go in that conversation. It's so easy to say, hey, I want people to understand my story, but then when people ask hard questions about my story, I smack them over the head with my story. And that's not healthy either. It's not healthy to do that either. So to be able to have relational conversations with someone about your context and everything that you've been going through is really important. So for someone that you're asking, if you want to go looking for someone, I think it just comes with how you approach it, and say, hey, like, these are some of the things that I've been dealing with, and so let's talk about those things. And I want to enter in a conversation with you and hear your perspective on the matter.
I love that it all kind of revolves, like you said, around this mystery. Like God purposely put mystery in the universe, and part of that is in the fact that he made different people, and we look different, we speak different, we have different cultures, 100%. And all this really there's a lot of beauty in it. I mean, we've kind of, because of what you said, like, we fear to walk beyond those lines of like differences. We'd rather flock together because we're the birds of the feather or whatever, you know? So it's like, I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, something like that.
But then we're like, oh no, I don't want mystery. I want sure things. But then I think we were just talking about before the podcast about the brackets and about March Madness and about basketball. And I'm not a sports person, but there's a mystery. When you fill out a bracket, you might be like, oh, I'm pretty sure my team's going to win, or this team's going to win, or my team's going to suck. I'm pretty sure about that. But you know for sure that you're probably not right. Right. There's a mystery in that. And that's why you watch it. You don't watch a basketball game because you know they're going to win. You want to know what's going to be at the end because it's a mystery, and there's, it's being played out. Again, I'm not a sports person, but I think, am I right that some of the most boring sports games, the most boring games you can watch are the ones you already know the answer, and it's easily seen at the beginning. You're like, oh, they're definitely going to win. This is going to be a really boring game.
Yeah, it's why you don't want people to tell you the end of the movie. Yeah, you want to enjoy the journey. And even though when we go see, this is kind of off topic, but go see like the Avengers or superhero movies, you know the superheroes are going to come out on top, but you want to enjoy the journey of how the superhero and their character arc and all the things that they have to overcome and all the other things that have to do with that person's story. You want to see that story and see it to the end, even though you kind of know what's going to happen. Like they're probably going to win. And so I think that's the same thing that has to do with each other. Like, it's the same concept. And sometimes we just want to know the person's story. And what we do, we start to assume something about people. We generalize about people, or we put people in this box and say all the people who think like this, act like this, do this, and that's not part of the mystery. That's not part of it.
Why can't we do that? Like, why can't we make that like, everybody loved, like, I mean, I won't speak for everybody, but I feel like most people loved watching Endgame, even though in that circumstance they lost, right? Sorry. Spoilers. I apologize.
You're talking about Infinity War. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Infinity War. No spoilers. But if you haven't seen it by now, it's your own fault.
Yeah.
It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So,
come on.
But, like, we like to be in the mystery of that, but why can't we live in the mystery of like, not like, oh, I've already pegged you. I already know who you are without even meeting you or getting to know you. I already know exactly where you are. Why do we do that with people and not with like movies and stuff? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's a good question because I think people are scary.
Yeah.
I think we're unpredictable and we're complicated. And so the more that we can put people in a specific type of box, the easier mentally that we can deal with what it is. And even if the box we put people in scare us, but at least we know they scare us. And I think that is, when we look at the polarization of our world, our politics today, it's all about who can draw the most fear. And the way you draw the most fear is that you put people that are different than you, that think different than you, in a box, and then you paint that box as scary. And then that's how, but you, at least, for us, we understand that. And that's the whole danger thing about, during the whole time, I was having some conversations with people on social media about different things, and you can call them debates. I don't really argue with anyone, but some of them were debates on different things. But I just refuse to argue with or debate with someone that I didn't know their story or know a little bit about their context, because in social media, in Facebook and all that kind of stuff, or Instagram, whatever you want to call it, you just see a very small sliver of someone's life. And someone's life is completely complex and messy and different and hard, and they've experienced loss, and they have been through some of the same things you've been through. But when I argue with someone, or if I choose to argue with someone on Facebook on this little piece, this little sliver on their life, but then I use that sliver to paint them as this person, it's dangerous, it's unhealthy, but to your point, it helps me cope with what this person is saying, because then I can create their narrative for them. And so as I was having some of these different conversations on Facebook, I always made sure if someone, and most of these people were responding to me and I'm responding back, but I make sure I chose to respond to people who I know about their context, because when I do, I'm able to say, hey, like, we had disagree on this point, but man, I cried with you when your grandfather died, and I was there for you, and I saw your human self. All this stuff online and all the stuff that we see today, a lot of it is caricatures and it's fabricated. And so it's so easy for us to get caught into those, because our brain naturally does this, right? Our brain is designed to help us be efficient. So we translate that into humans, right? We put them in boxes so we can efficiently and quickly snap judgments on people and kind of move on with our day, and make sure that we're protecting ourselves and we're being safe. And really, if we follow Jesus, sometimes safety and comfortability is directly opposed to the gospel that he's called us to. And it's something that we have to intentionally move past. Like this want to create a world that looks like what I want it to look like. Like, we want to be the kings of this world. We want to shape this world into how we think it should be. And sometimes what we do is forget that the people who we're putting over in that box, those people are made in the image of God. And when we do that, we strip them of some of those things that do it, because it's so easy. It's so easy to do that. It's so easy to say, "Oh, God likes me," and I think Cal spoke about this weekend. He did. He agrees with me. So therefore, if he agrees with me, what you think is of something else, the devil or something like that, right? It's almost like Waterboy's mom. That foosball is of the devil. Her famous quotes in that movie. Everything is of the devil, and it's so easy for us to convince ourselves that our way of thinking is the right way and the only way. And if we're married and we know that's not the case, frequently our way of thinking is the wrong way of thinking. So, but it gets really hard when people start to look at what the other side is doing, and they're saying, "Oh my gosh, that other side is going to infringe on my safety." and then we get to demonize people and dehumanize people. And that is where us as believers, we have to stand against that. We have to stand against dehumanizing people. We have to stand against making people not seeing people the way that God sees people. Even people who really, man, there's nothing about that person that I agree with. But God looks at this person and says, I love him or her. I love him or her. I adore them. And I want what's best for them. And so often we can get caught up in playing. In a lot of ways we can be caught up in playing God. So
yeah, no, Cal talked about that. The righteous. When righteous people don't feel like they need to change their mind or anything.
For sure.
And so that's totally true. What was it like this past summer? Because I know you and Dean, who's your boss, the Glendale campus pastor, you guys got to go together to some of these prayer events and like worship stuff in downtown Phoenix. What was that like, just getting to do that part of life together, and almost just ministry in a sense of hey, we're coming alongside each other arm in arm?
Yeah, that was fun, but it was just really cool. For Dean and I have many deep conversations about a lot of issues, and I think it's really important for me to have someone who's older, but also, man, this idea of being curious. Dean is one of the most curious people that I know, and him just asking questions and just being completely open with where he is, and understanding his own biases and understanding what he doesn't see, and he allows me to point some of those things out. And he also takes it upon himself to go looking for those things as well. So doing those things with him and some of the other people on staff who were at some of those things, with us, we did the prayer vigil thing in Gilbert, at our Gilbert campus, and just seeing our staff really say, hey, we not only see you, but we're standing with you. Was really powerful. It really was. It's a really cool thing to say, wow, my peers see me, and though they don't look like me, though they don't have the same experience as me, they're just different people. And you don't have the same experiences as Jonathan, or we're just different. But when you have someone supporting you in that way, it feels good. It feels good to be supportive. And the conversations that Dean and I have had over the years, I've known Dean for a really, really long time, has been really good. Back to the point of, we have to find people that we can have those conversations with. If every conversation was just Dean just agreeing with me, or not even, because we agree on a lot of things, but just hey, let's go deeper here. Let's figure out why. Let me pose a challenging question to you. We gotta have people like that in our circle. Totally. Someone that you truly respect, and that you can just have a deeper conversation with.
Yeah. Well, and that just doesn't happen overnight. You and Dean, like you said, that's a testament to your relationship.
Yeah.
And, even us just having this conversation here, it's a testament to the fact that, we're coworkers, we're peers, we're friends. And these conversations can't happen just on a whim. It takes some effort from both sides to see that. So it's cool to see that, and encouraging at the same time.
Yeah.
I want to transition a little. I know you've got kids. And what are their ages again?
A 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. She's about to be 2 in May.
Okay. So you got some fun times ahead of you.
Yeah.
How do you, as just a father, how do you try and walk through, experiences or situations like you've outlined in your blog, and just model that for your kids?
Yeah. It's actually it's kind of crazy. As a parent, you don't really, as a parent, it's kind of hard, because you just want your kids to stay innocent.
Yeah.
I think all parents want our kids to they're just little and they're innocent. But so I tell you a story. So last year my son was playing t-ball, and one of the kids, it was at the beginning of practice, and one of the kids said, "Hey, I don't want to play catch with him. I want to play catch with someone with lighter skin."
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
wow.
And fortunately, my son didn't hear that, but I did. And so, mind you, this is T-ball. So this is 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And so I was fortunate, and God, just like the Holy Spirit, like was definitely with me. And I've worked with kids like pretty much my whole life. And so understanding, hey, kids, somebody just say some crazy stuff. And so I had an opportunity to pull his dad to the side while the kids were practicing and stuff like that, and just had a conversation with like, hey man, this is what your son said. Is it really probably a time for you to have a dad moment with him, just to talk about what he said. My son didn't hear it. I'm not upset at all. But just here's something for you. And obviously he was apologetic and all that kind of stuff. But fortunately my wife didn't hear it. Hear what he says. So I got to talk to her about it afterwards. And obviously, as a mama bear would get super upset. But as I was just having that conversation with her, and then I got to have another conversation with the dad. I was seeing him at the T-ball game, and he was like, hey, like his mom's a person of color. Like, I don't know where he said that to, where he got that from. I was like, man, I wonder if that's something that's been said to him, what he's been going through. But if I would have blown up at him, or like, hey, like you're teaching your son this, like for one, that would have severed the relationship that we could have had, right after that COVID happened. So didn't see him again. But that would have severed the relationship, and then it would have been a model for my family of how are we going to handle these types of things. And my son still till this day doesn't know that happened. But I think it was a good eye opener for me and my wife to have conversations about, okay, how are we going to handle these types of conversations? So, like just being aware of when we need to have these conversations, and obviously making sure they understand their culture. My kids are half black and half white, and so they recognize. I mean, my 5-year-old recognized that me and him have different skin tones and stuff like that. But it's an idea that, hey, like we're gonna appreciate all people, and so I can't expect people to appreciate us if I'm not going to teach him to appreciate all people as well. And so it kind of really starts in that modeling, like, hey, like we are going to be the models of how we want people to treat us. And when we have those times where people don't treat us the right way, we're going to figure out how to handle those situations. Hopefully, I'm not saying that we're going to do this every time perfectly, but my hope is that we handle things with love and with care and with honesty and integrity. And that's what I want to model for my kids, is how to handle situations with honesty and integrity, and be able to stand up for yourself while at the same time loving people. And having grace for people. I think that is the standard that we've been set before us when it comes to following Jesus. It's not an easy thing. It's a hard thing. It's a serious thing. But some of the cool things that can happen out of the way that Jesus designed them, that God designed them, are way more fruitful and way more impactful than the gut reactions and the selfish reactions that we can have in some of those situations. So that, as a dad, is something I want to make sure that my kids understand, is that, diversity is important. Diversity is good. Diversity is cool. It's the mystery inside of life that we get to discover people and where they're from people that look like you, or people that look like you, but they're from a different land and a different context and a different culture. Like, we want to know about those things because they're fun. Like, life is so much more full when we're able to experience other people in their ways. Like, I'm just thinking about this map and all the different types of people that are out there. My mom is from Trinidad and Tobago. You can't see it on that map because it's too small, but but it's not represented on there. But my mom's from Trinidad and Tobago, and like learning that culture growing up has been It's a part of me. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of who my kids are, and it's a fun thing. It's not like it's not bad. It's not bad to be different. It's not bad to not understand things. It's only bad when you want to push things away and create yourself a little box that you're going to hide in.
Yeah. And something I've really appreciated just in this conversation with you, DJ, is all the ways that how you've just shown great humility yourself, the great ability to listen. And like, I'm going through all these different things you've said. Like when you're talking to somebody on social media, you don't talk to people who, engage in arguments or debates with people you don't know their lives or have some kind of connection with, because you know that their persona on social media or in that moment, in that post, is not the complete person.
Yeah.
And I mean, every person has this gigantic background, and I think we forget that all the time. Like we all have these things, these hurts in our lives. Somebody has hurt us, somebody's done this to us, some person has been really great to us from this people group, and so like that people group's good, but somebody from this people group has hurt me, or my grandparents told me about this, and there's so much history, and sometimes we don't even recognize that about ourselves, let alone another person. And what I've really appreciated about listening to you is that you just show the humility and ability to listen and recognize that every person has that story. Every person has that history that's on them, and it is affecting how they see other people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we all come from a perspective. We all have a perspective, and it's different. So even having this conversation about what was it like being a black pastor in a white congregation, or what is it like in my context? I mean, like, it's just my perspective. Someone else can have a very different perspective on the events that happened this summer, and that's okay. That is okay. Like, I don't speak for all black people. I don't speak for, the only people I can speak for is for me and my family. And everybody else has that same responsibility. Like, you just speak for yourself and your family, and understanding that, hey, my perspective is my perspective. And like, though I may understand something about the larger perspective that you may not understand, at the end of the day, the way I interpret those things can be a little bit nuanced and different than someone else if you ask the same questions. And being able to have those stories and have those conversations with people is really important to get some of that history stuff that you talk about, and the culture stuff that you talk about. Like, yeah, like you're gonna have to talk to someone about those things, and so we all have to be willing to share and be open with people. I have to be willing to open up and share with people, and I have to be willing to give people the same grace and forgiveness and all that stuff that I want for myself, because I think it's natural to give less grace than we want, right? Like, we want a bunch of grace, but we don't want to give people grace. And so
that's good stuff. I even think, just when you're talking about you talk about the mystery of diversity and just being open and taking in new ideas or whatnot. Like, the easiest example that comes to my mind is just food. Like, if I were to only eat food that people who look like me or from my part of the world eat, like, it'd be a pretty boring life. I don't know about you.
50% of my diet is pizza. I just want to say.
No, that's so true.
But like, your life has expanded so much more when you start to become open to just hearing different perspectives. And we're looking at it through the lens of looking at that perspective of how Christ would look at it, right?
Right.
And rather than just hanging out with the people that we would always hang out with, it's, hey, Luke 15, he's hanging out with the sinners and the tax collectors, and he's getting to hear their story and get to be with them. And yeah, that's just the exciting part of life that we've got ahead of us.
Yeah. I feel like I've learned a lot today, and I think this is a good place to end, but I'd love to have you on again on the podcast sometime.
Sure.
And I had a lot of fun listening to you, and I just appreciate who you are. Like,
thank you guys.
Man, you show a lot of humility, like I said, and ability to listen that I think I need to work on. So
thank you.
Thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you. This was fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. Well, Beyond the Lines is a podcast that we record out of Central Christian Church in the Arizona Phoenix Valley. You can come check us out at centralaz.com/. nothing. Centralaz.com. You can check us out. We have online services as well as a bunch of campuses in the Valley for you to check out if you're here local. We'd love to say hi. And we are just pursuing the mantra of love beyond, which, as we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, is just about trying to see from other people's perspective, trying to listen and then walk and love beyond our lines wherever we go. So hope to see you next time, and thanks for joining for this podcast. Give us a rating on Apple Podcasts, please.
Oh, yeah. Cool.